So you can never have too many false water cobra videos on YouTube. There's not enough, really. Still, although getting really well known, an underrated species for sure, they really are, still not getting maybe the love they deserve. Almost a niche cult species, really. And yet, falsies with understanding make amazing, amazing pet snakes. In fact, for someone with experience that wants a pet snake, they're as good as it gets. They're intelligent for a snake. They've got a presence about them. They really have a presence. They've got a personality. They get big, but they don't get ginormous like a big fat python. Crucially, they're active in the daytime, and their feeding response, their high energy ways, their eating habits, their metabolism means they are active, even from really young animals. Obviously, as tiddlers, a little bit shy, but more than any other snake, falsies will be out and about from a young age, driven by that desire to eat. Check out the other videos. I'm not going to go all into how to feed them and rear them, more show you some adult snakes. So these are both, this is a pair, I'm going to show you my breeding pair. They're both well in excess of 10 years old, and they both measure about 7 feet. He's just shy of 7 feet stretched out, and she's just a little bit longer. But what I want to show you is the difference. People often ask which is best, male or female. Males are just a smaller animal, even at the same length. They're just a lot smaller. They haven't got the girth. If you want the biggest, most impressive falsie you can get, go for a female. It is going to grow to be a bigger, bulkier animal. But if you like to give your animals as much space as possible, a male is going to grow to be a smaller animal. So in any given enclosure, it's going to have more room. Again, we're not talking about enclosures. We're not talking about their water. That's all covered. Check out have a scroll through the playlist, snake playlist, and look for false water cobra. If you're in the IHS, International Herpetological Society, check out a recent mag article that I wrote in there covering the whole species. So have a look. What have we got? Massive smooth scales. Brazilian smooth snakes is the name. These are not constrictors, and yet their constricting ability is immense. That is crushing my fingers. They do not constrict their prey, not at all. Let's see if I can stretch him out a little bit. So this male, he's always been feisty. He's always hooded up. He thrashes his tail at you. He's all about, I don't want to come out today. He has never bit me in any context. People get very worried about falsies hooding up and tail whipping. Oh, I can't handle mine, it's aggressive. In fact, pretty much the only time they are aggressive is all about food drive. A well-fed falsie is a different animal than one that's really, really, really hungry. Have a look at this animal. I've got to check out if it ever lived. A guy sent me this. He picked this animal up from someone selling it on the photo. What a disgrace. Don't know if it's lived. I'll give him some advice. I must chase it up. I'll try and chase it up before the end of this video. These things can't do a once a month little feed. Has to be a lot of food, small feeds, small size items regular. So, are we going to stretch you out or not? This is what we would call a UK hypo. It's the same colour or similar colour as they're found in the wild. They come in these pale phases as well in the wild. I've seen wild animals, not personally with these colours, but look at this beautiful animal. Don't go in there, we can't see you. Look at this. So you can get some idea of his length here. Look at that. Really active tongue flicking, really exploratory, and a bit huffy and puffy. The big scales and the smooth scales make them feel like nothing else to handle. They really are beautiful to behold. But if you want to cuddle up on the settee with a snake, these guys, they take a bit of time, because once you get them out, they're all for like, whoa, brain food, let's get exploring. So a bit like a yellowtail crebo. By the way, these make way better pet snakes than yellowtail crebo. Sorry, mate, way better snakes. A bit like those, they're always on the move, and it takes a little bit of time before your big falsie is going to sort of just cuddle up and settle down with you. It wants to explore, kind of annoyingly, because in an annoying way, so much as, although they can grab hold of you and constrict, they're not big on climbing. So snakes that are not big on climbing kind of don't wrap around and sort of bind to you and mold to your body as they climb up you. They kind of just fall off. One word of warning: a well-fed falsie, look at his long tail, male false water cobra with a huge tail, like a reticulated python. If it's well fed and it's due a poo, handling time, you are going to get covered if you don't have one eye on the ventral area. I can tell you that now. I've had a couple of instances in my younger days with false water cobras, when I've took them to talks and things. Yeah, just missed my trousers, covered the floor of the venue. They stink as well. Proper runny, stinky, colubrid poo. High metabolism, so a high burst of activity, time to lighten the load. So keep your eye out there for sure, or you'll pay the consequences. So you can see now he is starting to mould. He's still huffing and puffing, but he's slowing down. But those tongue flicks, just taking in all that information. Good eyesight for a snake, you know, really good at seeing that movement. Colour morph, you can get the lavenders now, you get dark phase, you get lighter ones, different hypos. That's down to your personal preference. I've kind of got this guy, by the way, he's way darker than he was, way darker than he was. When they hatch from an egg, they change their colour and pattern. So you buy that hatchling, it's not going to look exactly like that. When it matures out and grows up, it will change. Look at this gloss. Anyway, now he's settled down. My dog's drinking in the next room. Now he's settled down. Let's do it all again with the female. So male, get some idea, swap around. Okay, so she's just been in a bath, nice, and she has recently laid a clutch of eggs, so she's still lean now. So if you've seen some of the other feeding videos, she's managing to swallow a small rabbit. So she's oh, you slimy thing. They're not slimy, she's wet. So she's having a rat or a small rabbit every week. She's really hard to handle because she's actually wet. So just let me try and show you the difference in size. It's hard because she's a lot leaner than a female normally is. After the egg laying process, a lot of body mass is used up, but she still weighs way more than him, and you'll appreciate she is that little bit longer. So beautiful animal, but she's stacking on body mass, stacking on calcium supplies after the egg laying. She looks not emaciated, but the wrong side of lean, really. Look at that. She's a much calmer animal, much calmer, and always has been. She almost never hoods up. Huffing and puffing a bit, whoa. But her food response is higher than his, and she's missed the tongs with a rat on about 3 occasions. Got hold of the side of my thumb. Very sharp teeth, and I can tell you now, it bleeds profusely. I've been bitten by the odd baby, never had any reaction at all to any venomous secretions from those rear fangs, but oh, it bleeds, especially if it's a food bite, because it starts trying to swallow you straight away. I've always ended up just using the thumb on the other hand to pry them off, so you end up with a bleeding thumb tip and a bleeding thumb base on one hand. Much darker animal, a real dark phase animal. Again, still darkened down with age. You disgustingly soaking wet creature. So you decide whether you like them pale, whether you like them dark, whether you like them in between. Get off me. Whether you like lavenders. I like the darker ones personally, and being a mixed race pair, they produce different colour morphs. I get some really pale ones, I get dark ones, and I get Goldilocks ones just in between. I just wanted to show you what stunningly decent sized colubrids they are. Compared to the Crebos, guys, these things cost pence. I've got some ready to hatch. I sell the normals for 75 English pounds. I paid £2 last year for an Eastern Indigo hatchling. Yellowtail Crebos, I guess they're going to be £500 to £700 in the UK. Blacktails the same, and yet you can have an animal without that indigo snake kudos that is way more active, way less nervous and kind of shy, hide away than any snake you'll ever own, especially a lot of those younger Crebos. These things are the bargain basement interesting pet snake. They're not hard to breed, so if it's something you're interested in rearing animals on to try your luck at breeding, they're a good first breeding snake. You've only got to find out some of the basic care facts and the facts. First snakes I ever bred were local grass snakes. The second were Pueblo milk snakes. No, I'm lying. First snakes I ever bred were grass snakes. The second were actually false water cobras. The third were Pueblo milk snakes. They're not as easy as a Pueblo milk snake, but yeah, they make very interesting snakes to work with and breed. But this video really is about telling you, if you want something different, something just one up from beginner level, and you want the most interesting, and I mean interesting because it does stuff all the time, an active proper snake on display. False water cobras. If you've never tried them, look into them. But if your thing's pythons and boas, bear in mind, we're not having a monthly clear out, a nice firm stool to pick up in the enclosure. We're talking feed it today, clean up my stinking sloppy poo in 48 hours. And if you've got a good substrate and you're top on, spot on with your husbandry, you see a poo and you spot clean, not a problem at all. If I clean my snakes out every Sunday, they're not for you. They'll stink out your snake room or your house. They'll end up probably with scale rot. They do need to be spot cleaned as and when. But false water cobras, even when they're soaking wet, you disgusting critter, are absolutely, can we just look at the camera? They are, look at on my top, absolutely magnificent beasts. HYDRODYNASTES gigas. The false water cobra or Brazilian smooth snake. Check out any more falsy videos on the snakes playlist. Look at that. See you next time.